Thank you very much. I will be doing the introductions now, Osberl, from now on. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I've been working in the maritime industry for about 35 years as an engineer all over the world, and a lot of ship construction and ship operation. It's given me a little bit of an insight in the changes we're going through at the moment. I say that because we have been, you could say we have been idling nicely on nice fossil fuel for a long time, and now there's a big change coming. They are going to be expensive and they're going to be big changes. They are necessary. I would like to say that this presentation may come across as a little negative, but neither I nor the shipping industry in general are arguing against the need to reduce our fossil dependence as quickly as possible and as low a figure as possible. I know you're all waiting for the but. There isn't one. The rest of the speech sounds a bit like a but, though. I was asked to speak today primarily in regards to my experience with ETS. That's EU ETS. We're going to have to be careful about that because there's a lot more cropping up. And in the maritime sector. I can only really speak from my own experience, of course. To give everybody an idea of what is required to comply with the EU ETS, there are a fair few steps. We were kind of hoping, because it was mature within other industries, that you'd ironed out all of the problems. From our industry perspective, we have to log all of the fuel used on each leg of each voyage, all of the cargo carried, all of the distance travelled on each of our ships. So all of that information on a near constant daily basis has to be recorded. A lot of it is paper because systems are old. The maritime industry is quite traditional, so we have oil record books are in paper, bunker delivery notes are on paper, deck logbooks are in paper, engine logbooks are paper. Bills of lading are paper. This is all scanned and recorded on the ship and transmitted into our office. We then try and computerize it as best we can. At the close of the reporting year, all of this information is compiled. The individual ship's data is uploaded to EMSA TETIS. That's their computer system, which we have to try and get our system to fit into. This information is checked and verified by our approved verifier, in our case Bureau Veritas. If the individual ship's information verification is approved, the ship owner can then submit it to commission. The information can then be compiled on a company level, aggregated company level emissions. These company level emissions must then be verified by our approved verifiers, in our case BV. If that is okay, the ship owner can then submit the information to commission as a company level. That is then approved again. The data can then be uploaded to our MOA account, Maritime Operating Holding Account, on the Union Registry. The verifier checks that to make sure we've done it correctly. In order for the verifiers to do that, they must hold their own MOA accounts for each separate country. For our case, that is Ireland and the Netherlands. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at this point the EPA get involved and they check the figures at that point. This must all be completed by the 31st of March of the reporting year. If all of the above is approved, the ship owner has then got until the end of September to surrender their required carbon credits. As this was the first year, we knew there would be problems. We had difficulty getting the information into the system. We may do better going forward. It was not helped by EMSA changing the TETIS format on the 25th of February this year. We had 80% of our information in the system at that point, and we had to start from scratch again. Move away a little bit from ETS, just because we have a number of other reporting systems we have to comply with. Because we're an international trading company, a couple of other systems were mentioned earlier today. In the international sector, and I apologise for all the acronyms, IMO DCS, IMO CII, and IMO GHG MEPC 83. Those are three different submissions that we have and will be making going forward. EU MRV, EU ETS, and EU Fit for 55, the fuel EU systems. UK MRV, UK ETS, and we're told there is 11 other countries getting involved in ETS systems. From a shipping company point of view, we don't live in Ireland. We operate all over the world. If 11 other countries bring in ETS systems, we'll be doing submissions in the same way we're doing in Ireland for 11 other countries. The administrative burden is getting a little bit top-heavy. They are all separate monitoring plans and separate submissions. And it's all essentially the same information in a lot of cases. Moving away a little bit from ETS, MRV, Ireland is an island. I'm sorry to state the obvious, but it does seem to be forgotten on occasion. Unlike most of the rest of Europe, we cannot import or export bulk items by any other means than shipping. If you have a look around this room, I challenge you to find one thing that was not brought here by ship. Answers on an envelope, back of a postcard, please. There isn't much, if anything, possibly exception to people themselves. Shipping in general is going to need a help to make the transition to carbon, zero carbon. And I don't mean handouts. I mean fossil fuel alternatives and the infrastructure for widespread supply around Europe and the rest of the world. The policy at the moment seems to be hit the maritime industry with extra costs until they fix the problem. It will work, but it won't work quickly. And it won't work nearly in the time frame that we're being pushed to do. I've travelled around and working with several engine manufacturers in the last 3 years, watching as they design and test engines capable of using different alternative fuels. Some are easy, some are not. Some are more dangerous and don't really want to touch them. It's a slow and methodical process from their point of view. Think we can do it faster, we can do it right. There was a question from the audience this morning regarding fog, that it seemed clear the path we were to travel. The targets are clear, the path is not, from my perspective, obviously. Ships in our market have a 20-year cycle, and that's quite short by shipping standards. It could be as much as 50 for different types. That means if I'm planning to build a ship today, I have to design in or allow for alternative fuels. The alternative fuels that are on the cards at the moment are vastly different than what we're burning at the moment. So it is a redesign from the ground up. It's not just the equipment to consume the fuels, the engine, it's the storage, the treatment, the crew training, the safety involved. To mention safety, because some of the alternatives that are being thrown out there were banned from the marine industry years ago because they're toxic. Some of the maritime industry will start the transition away from fossil fuels quite quickly and easily. Wind assist systems will suit some transoceanic voyages and some ship types, and they're already being used. Batteries are and can be used for short sea ferries. There are ships operating out there on methanol today, mostly test ships, mostly on routes allowing them to set up shoreside infrastructure themselves needed for regular fuel deliveries. None of these, to the best of my knowledge, are burning green methanol. Some of the industry will not start the transition so easily. Those vessel types, there will need to be a steadily available alternative. Ideally, and in as many places as possible, constant, or in the same places we currently bunker fuels. The shoreside infrastructure is going to be as important as the vessel's ability to safely store and consume these fuels. This is where governments must step in and step up. I've fitted 17 ships with OPS system, that's onshore power supply systems. I have not plugged one of those in anywhere in Europe for onshore power supply. In 2 years' time, I'll have a ship that can consume methanol. It will be methanol ready. Will I be able to buy methanol? I would like to say green methanol in Ireland in 2 years' time. In short, the shipping industry will make the transition, but it needs a little bit more carrot and a little less stick. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.